Okay, today we're going to be talking a little bit about warming up and some practice drills. And before you do any practice drills or ever shoot any pool, first thing you always want to do is warm up. And I always advocate, first thing you should do is lean over the table, use your edge of your cloth against the wooden rail as a straight edge, and practice stroking up and down so that you don't see any wobble in your cue stick. So you want to do that till you can do it 20 or 30 times with no wobble. Once you've done that and it looks good, you've corrected any wobble, then come across the table, line it straight in, the cue ball straight across the table with the 2 diamonds. Just shoot with center cue ball and see that you're going straight across and coming back. Came dead on. So I know my aim is good, I know that my stroke is good. Now to further refine that, once you've done that 3 or 4 times successfully, then put it on the spot and shoot up to the center diamond and have it come back down to the diamond at this end. And when you can do that 3 or 4 or 5 times successfully without any cue ball going off to the side, then you know you're hitting center ball and you know your stroke is good. A lot of times people think they're hitting center, but especially when you go to the long distance of the table, if you're hitting off center just a little bit, the cue ball, you'll see it coming back to the left or to the right. And then you have to make that adjustment in your aiming. Next thing is, once you've done that, then you're ready to start shooting a few balls to warm up with. When you're warming up, no matter how good you are, even some of the very best players in the world, never shoot a hard shot in the beginning when you're first warming up. Always start with something easy, a straight in shot. Shoot some easy shots. You can, after you've made some easy shots, then you can start playing a little bit of position on the next ball. But if your position gets off a little bit and you wind up with a hard shot, don't take it. Pick the cue ball up and put it somewhere where you have an easy shot. Something so psychological about that. If you start out shooting and you start out missing shots, then it has a negative effect on you. So you want to really get warmed up physically and psychologically, feeling that you're sharp and you're making balls. Once you're making balls, then you can gradually shoot slightly more difficult balls. Okay. A great practice drill is to, one of the things you should do, of course, is to, excuse me, throw all the balls out on the table in the beginning, spread them out fairly far apart, most of them off of the rail, fairly easy shots. Start out with cue ball in hand and just try to run as many balls as you can, trying to play position, but you can shoot any ball. Keep shooting until you miss. Once you've missed, put them all back on the table again, but write down how many balls you made. If you can run 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 balls, that's great. Write it down. Put the date down. Then use that as a goal for yourself to next time that you're shooting and practicing, try to run 2 or 3 more balls. And you can set goals for yourself so that eventually, like I said, if you're starting out, you want to make 7 balls, eventually 20, then 30, and so on. Depends on how good you want to get. Okay, so that's a good practice drill. Then a really tough practice drill we'll get into later, but eventually a great practice drill for playing straight pool or 8-ball is to throw all 15 balls on the table. Again, spread them out wide, keep them all well off of the rails. Start out with cue ball in hand. Shoot any ball you want to, but the object here is you cannot let the cue ball hit a cushion. And this is a very tough drill, but it will teach you to see patterns for 8-ball and straight pool especially, and teach you how to play very tight position. So that's a fantastic drill. Next thing I would suggest you do, again, you want to set up a ball when you first start out, straight in, practice your stop shot, You want to stop the cue ball at about 1/4 diameter. You do that till you make it 5 or 10 times in a row, then back the cue ball back up and just keep getting a little further distance and more distance. And of course we know, or if you don't know by now, once you get past a couple diamonds distance between the cue ball and the object ball, you have to put just a touch of low English on the cue ball to put a little backspin on it so that it will stop. Okay. Once you can make balls, obviously, the next thing to do is to learn how to play position. And position, like I tell people, if I was had a shot like this, a 7 ball there, there's 2 balls there, how many times could you make that 7 in the side? Well, you could probably make it 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 times if you shoot a little bit of pool. So the object of the game is to try to wind up with all easy shots like that. Well, learning how to play position, obviously, is going to put you close to where you want to be. So one of the easiest ways to learn to play position, get a piece of paper, put it on the table, and figure out how to make the ball. Put down a little spot under the object ball and the cue ball so that you're hitting the same shot every time. Now, we know when I hit this 14 ball to cut it in the corner, if I hit it with center ball, the cue ball should come off at a 90-degree angle. So it's going to put it down right about in here somewhere. So let's see what it looks like. Hit it center ball. Okay, you can see I was coming right straight towards the paper. Didn't hit it quite hard enough. But that tells you again that I hit it right, so you know the next time you would hit it, you just have to hit it a little harder. Okay, so now what I want to do is move the piece of paper, my target, over this way a little bit. Now I know I need to put a little bit of left-hand English on it because I'm cutting the 7 to my right. If I hit center ball, it's coming down this way. A little bit of left-hand English will bring it over this way. And again, I'm coming right towards the paper. Well, I missed it by a little bit. So, but those are some good drills for set up all kinds of different shots and practice getting position. Another shot that is really critical that you want to practice is when an object ball is sitting in the pocket. A lot of people take that shot for granted because it's very hard to miss that shot. But it's very tricky to get position exactly where you want it. So you have to set that shot up and experiment putting the cue ball in different places on the table. See how thick you have to hit the ball, or how full or how thin you have to hit it, and what a difference it'll make in English. Another thing a lot of people do, mistakes that beginners make, if I wanted to get back down the table here, let's say the 8 ball was down here somewhere and I want to get back down the table, a lot of people think, well, high English. But you can see I hit that pretty hard. But the high English, once the cue ball hits the rail, it's trying to bounce out this way, but it still has high English on it, or high top English. The cue ball is fighting to go back, and that made it slow way down here. So you want to be careful you don't hit that ball too full, because you can kill it. One of the next things I like to do is practice your draw shot. Put an object ball and the cue ball about 1 diamond apart, and just draw the ball back just a little bit. Okay, I drew it back about 2 diamonds. So you want to practice your speed and drawing it back a little further each time. And again, you see I didn't hit that ball very hard, but what you should try to actually do is start out with the object ball and the cue ball 1 diamond apart, and draw the cue ball back till you can get it like within a hand's width or hand diameter of this diamond. Do that till you can do it 3 or 4 times in a row. Then with the same spot, draw it back to this diamond, then to here, then to here, then down to here. And what you'll notice is if you have a good smooth stroke, and always keep your wrist loose on your draw shot especially, you don't have to hit it that hard. But the lower you hit the cue ball, the more it will come back. And a good follow through. So that's a good practice drill. Another good practice drill is to set up a semicircle, something like this. Take cue ball in hand and just draw the ball back at a slight angle and work your way across. A little bit too hard. But again, that comes from speed control and warming up. But there's lots and lots of practice drills that are really great. Another good practice drill that I like is, and also a test, is called 99. And in that practice drill, you rack the balls up for 9 ball. You break the balls, and after you break, you take cue ball in hand and just try to run them out. Of course, you have to run them in order, playing 9 ball. Write down how many balls you make. Did you run 5 balls, 6 balls, or all 9 balls? There's a scoring system. You kind of keep it like bowling. If you make a ball in a break, you get 2 points. Then if you make all 9 balls, you get another 9 balls, so that's 11 points. You do 10 racks. But anyway, keep track of it, keep your score. And it gives you, once again, it can tell you how good you're doing and how you're improving. Another thing, everybody, of course, practice bank shots. And again, there are, which I teach for some people can kind of see the angles in their head. Some people have to do a little bit of mathematical calculations to help them find a spot to bank to. But I have found the best thing to do is just line up 3 or 4 balls like this, and okay, again, I think, the easiest way to learn to bank is to set up 3 or 4 balls cross side, bank them to your left. Every time you miss, put the balls back and start over again. Keep doing that until you can bank all 4 balls into the side pocket. Then switch over, put them on this side and bank to your right. If you're cutting balls to your right, then you want to turn around and cut balls to your left. If you're banking, same thing. I'm banking to my left, so after I've done that, I want to bank just as many to my right. But if you bank enough balls, eventually you'll see the angles. But again, banking is a lot of touch and feel also, because keeping in mind, as we already know, the harder you hit the ball, it's going to tighten the angle up. If you use any English, if you use outside English, it's going to widen the angle a little bit. So you have to put all those variables, and that's where the art part comes into banking balls. Again, there's dozens and dozens of great practice drills that you can use, and any of them, a lot of them are good. One other one that I really like is putting a bunch of balls frozen to the rail, put one at each diamond on this side of the table. And put them frozen to the diamond on the other side of the table. What you want to do is try to make the shot, hit the ball and the rail same time, using running English. Eventually you want to keep shooting these balls until you can put the cue ball close to the middle of the table, anywhere in the diamond's width of the table, to where you constantly come back to the middle of the table with the cue ball. It's a great practice drill, and of course a lot of people dread shooting balls that are frozen to the rail, so it will make you an expert at shooting balls on the rail and make you feel comfortable with them. So anyway, again, one of the things that everybody is an individual, and some people enjoy practicing more than others, but if the more you practice, the better you'll get. If you just get out there and bang balls around, your game is only going to get but so good. Again, if you're having a shot you're having problems with, you usually want to go back and just kind of keep shooting that ball over and over again until you make it 3 or 4 times in a row. However, depending on your personality, a lot of people will get frustrated or bored if they had to spend a half an hour shooting the same shot because they're having trouble with it. So if you run into a shot like that you have a lot of problems with, my suggestion in most cases would be to shoot the shot, spend 5 or 10 minutes on it. If you're getting frustrated or bored with it, move on to something else, and then come back to that shot either later in the day or the next day that you practice until eventually you conquer that shot. And make it fun. And also, I would say when you're practicing, always practice under pressure. In other words, even though you're playing by yourself, pretend in your mind that it is a challenge against you and another opponent. Then that way, when you're playing a real game against an opponent, you'll be used to the practice. Used to the pressure, rather. It'll make a big difference. Okay, and that's it for today.